Welcome to this Tutor2U Sociology topic video for Cambridge OCR A-Level Sociology. In this video we're going to look at social inequalities and the views of Phyllis Schlafly on the new right and gender. Phyllis Schlafly was a conservative political activist and writer whose views strongly influenced new right thinking, particularly in the United States. Her arguments about family, gender and social roles were published widely, including in 2002's Feminist Fantasies. While not an academic sociologist in the traditional sense, her work is highly relevant to sociology because it demonstrates how new right perspectives interpret inequality, especially gender inequality. The new right, a political and sociological stance, emphasises traditional family values, individual responsibility and limited state intervention. It's often critical of liberal or feminist approaches, instead arguing that society functions best when traditional gender roles are maintained. Schlafly's work provides a clear illustration of these ideas. Schlafly's book, Feminist Fantasies, was published in the context of arguments over the ongoing debate over feminism, family breakdown and the role of women in society. By the early 2000s, women had made significant progress in education and employment, and feminist ideas were widely influential. Schlafly opposed these changes, arguing that feminism undermined family stability and created social problems. From a sociological perspective, Schlafly's ideas are firmly rooted in the New Right tradition, which can be seen as an extension of functionalist ideas. Like functionalists, she believed in the importance of the nuclear family for maintaining social order. However, she went further by explicitly criticising feminism and welfare policies, which she saw as undermining traditional family structures and encouraging dependency. In Feminist Fantasies, Schlafly argued that women benefit most when they embrace traditional roles as wives and mothers. She claimed that feminism deceives women by encouraging them to pursue careers at the expense of family life, leading to unhappiness and social instability. According to Schlafly, men and women are naturally different, and these differences should be reflected in their social roles. She rejected the feminist claim that gender roles are socially constructed, instead suggesting they are rooted in biology and should be preserved. Although Schlafly did not conduct empirical research in the sociological sense, her arguments can be understood as an ideological statement that reflect and reinforce new right theory. For example, she drew on anecdotal evidence and cultural examples to claim that children are better off in two-parent heterosexual households, and that women who focus on family lives have more fulfilling lives. The key arguments of Schlafly's work can be summarised by looking at the idea that traditional family roles are essential. Women should prioritise motherhood and domestic roles, while men should provide financially. She also argued that feminism undermines society. Feminist ideas such as gender equality in the workplace disrupt family life and lead to instability. Furthermore, Schlafly argued that inequality between men and women is natural, that men and women have different strengths and functions, and trying to erase these differences causes problems. And finally, Schlafly echoed the new right idea that welfare encourages dependency, suggesting that state support for lone parents or welfare claimants weakens family responsibility and moral values. These ideas fit with the new right view of social inequalities. For Schlafly, gender inequality is not something to be challenged or reduced. Rather, it is functional and beneficial to society. Men and women are seen as having complementary roles that support the smooth running of families and, by extension, society as a whole. Evaluating Schlafly's arguments, there are clear strengths and weaknesses. One strength is that her ideas provide a clear illustration of new right ideology, which students can use in exams to contrast with feminist and Marxist perspectives. She also highlights debates around family change, feminism and social policy, which remain relevant today. However, there are significant criticisms. Critics argue that Schlafly's views are ideological rather than evidence-based, relying on opinion rather than research. Feminists strongly reject her claims, pointing to evidence that traditional gender roles can trap women in dependency, limit opportunities, and reinforce patriarchal power. Postmodernists would also argue that her ideas ignore diversity, failing to recognise different family forms such as lone parents, same-sex or cohabiting families, which are increasingly common. And finally, Marxists would argue that her perspective ignores class and economic inequalities, focused instead on morality and values. For Cambridge OCR sociology students, Schlafly is useful as an example of the new right perspective on gender inequality and family roles. Students can use her as evidence of how new right thinkers see traditional family roles as functional. Her work can also be evaluated against feminist perspectives, which see gender inequality as structural and harmful, and postmodernist perspectives which stress diversity and choice. In conclusion, Schlafly's arguments provide a clear new right critique of feminism and a defence of traditional family roles. Although her ideas are controversial and widely criticised, they remain important in illustrating how new right thinkers explain and justify gender inequality. That concludes this Tutor2U Sociology topic video for Cambridge OCR A-Level Sociology on social inequalities, looking at the work of Phyllis Schlafly and New Right and Gender. Thanks for watching.